it out, man. It's Alchemist. It's the God right here.
Don't pee right here, you know what I'm saying? And don't be scared to get shitty, man. You know what I'm saying? UGTV is going down.
What's good, y'all? This is Music Soul Channel right now. You are checking out Urban Grind TV.
What up, man? This is Ludacris, and right now you are watching UGTV.
What's happening? It's the Teflon Don Ricky Rouse. And right now you rocking with Urban Grind TV. It's going down. Flock, man. Flock Bell install. 10, 5, 10 minutes. UGTV don't go nowhere.
Yo, what's up? It's Eric Sermon, the Green Light Bandit in Chi-Town. UGTV, you know how I do all day. Represent that. You know what time it is.
Hey, Joel Santana, and right now you checking out Urban Grind TV. Dipset for life, Skull Gang forever, Slow Bugs, keep up. Ooh.
What's up, it's the Patty Cake Man, and you are watching UGTV right here.
It's Big Snoop Dogg, Urban Grind TV, you understand me?
Urban Grind TV, Face Mob in the building. I'll let your motherfucking boy.
Killer Cam, King Joffrey, Joe, Spacey Sprockets, and right now you watching Urban Grind TV. You know what it is. Dipset, you win.
Yo, check it out, y'all. It's the dead. It's Raekwon the Chef, and you doing it big right now on Urban Grind TV.
What's good, man? It's the God. You know what it is. You watching UGTV.
Yo, what's up? It's DA to the Z, Urban Grind. You know what I mean? Television, keeping y'all updated. Get on the log in, email us, holla back. It's DA to the Z right here, Chicago, baby.
Yo, what's the word, UGTV family? Y'all already know what it is. It's Thot Boy Zello, a.k.a. SMG Zello, the Talk-A-Lot artist, and we're back. It's Wednesday, and we have a very special guest, Mary Datcher. How you feeling today?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing very good. So what brings you to bless UGTV today?
Well, we have our upcoming 15th Annual Global Mixed Music and Film Forum. It's that time of year, and as always, I love coming by Urban Grind TV's family.
We
So,
most definitely love having you. So for those who don't know, what is that?
so basically, Urban Grind has been a partner with us for probably almost 15 years. You guys have been in existence, and what we do is we provide a platform for up-and-coming artists, filmmakers, content promoters, managers, you name it, to attend our panel discussions, attend our workshops, network, just fellowship, learn the business. And it really is about learning the business. So we've been doing this since 2005. We've taken, a break here or there throughout that whole time. And so this makes our 15th year that we're producing the event.
Most definitely. That is beautiful. 15 years producing that, and that is crazy. So what brought the idea up?
Well, we've done it before. Been in the business for 30 plus years. Started out doing street promotions. Had my own street promotions company. Worked with over 300 plus labels over the years. Worked with some major artists. A lot of cool people over the years in R&B, spoken word, gospel, you name it. And so what I've realized was that a lot of the music that was being broken by DJs. And I came up through an era where house music was popping in Chicago. Nobody was messing with hip hop. And so with that, when I started kind of moving into that lane, I noticed that there was a void. No one was promoting hip hop in the way that they were promoting all other music, whether it be house music, R&B, commercial type of music. And so I decided, okay, well, I see that this is something that's underground. This is something that needs to be heard on the masses, and labels were starting to break out more and more hip hop, but they didn't have an outlet for it. And I started my company basically straight out of high school called On the Street Promotions and Marketing. And throughout that process, I was getting a lot of notice from around the country. And, Def Jam was one of my stops where I worked at. Universal Music Distribution was one of my stops that I worked at. And George's Music Room was another iconic store on the west side that I helped, George Daniels cultivate and really, bring it to the next level, and then transition back into doing my company. And from that point on, it was a journey. And so we kicked it off initially with the first Chicago DJ Summit. And we did that for 2 years, had a lot of different artists from Faith Evans, Jaheim, Naughty by Nature, the whole nine. And so one thing I noticed about Chicago is that people don't like to support other Chicagoans making a mark. This is one of the reasons why
That's
so
a
many
fact.
of us go out of the city. We relocate to other markets that we feel we get a lot more reception from, whether it be LA or Atlanta or Miami or even at the time New York. We were losing a lot of good talent. And so I decided, you know what, let's take a breather, let's regroup. And in 2004, I helped Tony Neal, founder of the Core DJ Retreat, to do his first ever Core Retreat here in Chicago. And it was an intimate group of DJs, a lot of different label people flew all over from their own cities to come here. And that kind of kicked him off to do his own thing, and then it kicked me off to do Global Mix. And I didn't want to just do one DJ crew, I wanted to do multiple DJ crews. And so along with DJ Scrap Dirty, shout out to DJ Scrap Dirty, he's been a Violator All-Star DJs, we kicked off Global Mix in 2005. And it was, at the time, all about the DJs, because they were breaking music back then. I mean, seriously breaking music. Not only in the clubs, on college radio, on mix show, you name it.
Now, before we get them all the sauce, let them know where to find you at and where they could work and how they can get in tune with all this.
So definitely find me on IG at mdatcher, DATCHER, or Global Mix with 2 X's Music. And you can find me on IG, or you can find Global Mix Music in Film Form, or just Global Mix with 2 X's on all the key social media outlets. And we are based here in Chicago, but we have international appeal.
Most definitely. Thot Boy Zello, Mary Datcher, it's been a blessing. UGTV family, we out.
Hi, my name is Mary Datcher, and I'm the founder of Global Mix Music and Film Forum, and you're watching Urban Grind TV.
All right, UGTV family, you already know what it is. Puerto Rican.creative. You create, I design. We are back at another Wednesday night with a very special guest and sponsors. How are you, Miss Jen?
I'm good. Thank you very much. I'm glad to be here.
Thank you for coming and spending a little bit of time with us today, talking about a little bit of what you do. So, what is it that you do?
Well, I would say in a nutshell, I connect brands to fans. That's the ultimate result.
I love that.
But I come at it from a couple different ways, and I help companies, festivals, businesses, brands, artists put together a sponsorship strategy so that they can approach various brands and sponsors, clients, to help drive revenue for their property or for themselves.
Okay, so...
And then ultimately you work with those sponsors to create a cool experience that then they connect with fans.
Nice. Okay, so a little bit of an example. Just an example of one that you've done recently, just for those that...
Like an example, if Verizon was a naming rights sponsor of a concert that somebody was putting together, right?
Okay.
So I would have worked with that concert promoter or that concert producer to determine what are all the sponsorable items for their festival or for their show, and taken a look at all the different assets and decided at that point, okay, looking at all these assets, what are these worth?
Right.
And put them into different little opportunity packages. Then you take that and you take it to market and you approach a brand about being involved and coming aligned with the show. So you could approach Verizon, who would maybe be interested in a naming rights sponsorship for the show, and they would get included in all the stage collateral, all the marketing collateral, but then also on site they would probably have a really cool experiential area that people could go and actually demo their products, try on their products, do some really cool things with them, and Verizon might have some new product launches that they'd like to get their products in people's hands. And have some brand ambassadors that would be out there and be able to answer any questions that they might have about these new products.
Okay, so you're the sponsor, you're the brain for the artist that allows them to get the sponsorships that they need in order to go ahead and perform at the concerts and stuff like that.
It can be for an artist that maybe wants to have a brand partnership.
Okay.
So they might approach, let's say, a Verizon as a brand partnership, and every time that artist goes out and perform, Verizon would be aligned with them.
Right.
If you're doing it for a festival, you're really doing it on behalf of the festival.
Okay.
And so then you are helping that festival or that event create a sponsorship opportunity, and then they could go and approach that sponsor about being interested in an investment in being involved as a sponsor. So there's a lot of different approaches you could take. You could be Verizon, who is looking for an event to align with, and they are looking to engage in events that attract 18 to 34-year-olds.
Okay.
So I could work.
So it's a targeted audience.
Correct.
Okay.
Oh, yes, very much.
Okay, so
Yes.
whenever you guys approach her and you guys come to her, you have to be ready to talk strategy. You have to know your target audience and come with at least some type of idea of what you want to do. You don't have to come with the whole plan. She'll help you with the plan, guys, okay? But at least come with some idea, right?
Yeah, and a lot of times for an artist especially, you would like to approach partnerships. You would want to start with products that you already use.
Okay.
And that make a lot of sense for you, and then know that
That you've already connected with at least on some
you
level.
could actually talk about it, and you could really, really share experiences that you've had with that product.
Oh, okay.
And brands love that.
Right,
And so
because then they
something
can use
that's
it
already
commercially.
Natural, right?
Yeah.
And then, you would want to make sure that it would resonate with your fans.
Okay, awesome. And then, so like, in what type of area, when you talk about like an involvement area at an event or something like that, so are you talking about like if we're at a concert or something and you see the tents outside?
Yeah.
Those little tents that like say like Verizon, T-Mobile and all that stuff?
Yeah, those are
okay.
sponsorship areas. In my experience, setting up those areas, the more you can engage with the attendees, the better. And so, having something that attendees can do with that sponsor is the best thing. And, you don't want somebody
Right.
sitting at a table and just sitting in
Just
folding
watching
chairs.
you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that doesn't work. You got to you want to create a connection, so that means you actually have to engage with the attendees. And, if you're an artist and you'd like to get a brand to sponsor you or be part of your show, you would want to work with that brand on what cool experiences could we build out not
Together.
only
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so it's a partnership, guys,
For sure.
especially when you come to her. So where can they find you at if they ever wanted to work with you? If there's an artist that does watch this that might want to work with you, that has some type of idea or goal for themselves, where can they go ahead and get a hold of you at?
You can just email me at jennifer@jmorelliconsulting.com.
Okay. All right, so you already know what it is. Thank you so much for your time on this Wednesday night. I appreciate you for coming out and spending some time with us today. And you already know what it is, UGTV family, Puerto Rican.creative. You create, I design, and we're out.
Hi, this is Jennifer Morelli, and you're watching Urban Grind TV.
I'm on the ground like, whoa. Plenty of fish, you won't pay for the kitty. I probably hit once, then I ghost. Move like the Kennedy, I'm at your energy. Who is that boy? I don't know. He use a drum, so he up in the scope. Keep your friends safe and your enemies close. Brody a demon, he getting his mode. Empty the clip, so he gotta reload. Take what he on, I won't go in his pockets. I see through the cap, so that boy better stop it. I'm trying to see cash that don't fit in the wallet. SMG coming, we trying to make profit. Good talk with sinister, say it's no option. I use my technique, stick and move like I'm boxing. I been gave the word, so they ready to box him. I open up doors, thought you needed a locksmith. All of these drugs, can't nobody just drop me. Broke uncle with stick in the back of the party. All of these niggas play game what they like, but you cannot respond. No, this shit not a tar. Niggas be hating for any little reason, but I'ma keep rapping these features with Barbie. Trim this shit down till I get to the top. Now I'm about to offset like I'm dealing with Cardi. I'm going back to back, feeling like Pat. They was sleeping on Zello. Wake up from the nap. They put bread on his top since that boy wanna cap.
Yo, what's the word? It's SMG Zello, aka Thot Boy Zello, the Talk a Lot artist, man. In the beginning, it was hard for me to get exclusives and to get promo for my music. But guess what? UGTV has that, man. Call the number below, and they will help you out, man. It was the best thing I did for myself.
Mujeriego y mentiroso, mira lo que he llegado yo. Ah, mira. Y ahora estoy buscando y rogando por perdón. ¡Ay, Dios mío!
SMG shit. Shout out SEM. From Memphis to the rack. From the rack back. Still focused. Working. Grinding for everything and nothing less. Gang. I'm on the ground like, whoa. Plenty of fish, you won't pay for the kitty. I probably hit once, then I ghost. Move like the Kennedy, I'm at your energy. Who is that boy? I don't know. He use a drum, so he up in the scope. Keep your friends safe and your enemies close. Brody a demon, he getting his mode. Empty the clip, so he gotta reload. Take what he on, I won't go in his pockets. I see through the cap, so that boy better stop it. I'm trying to see cash that don't fit in the wallet. SMG coming, we trying to make profit. Good talk with sinister, say it's no option. I use my technique, stick and move like I'm boxing. I been gave the word, so they ready to box him. I open up doors, thought you needed a locksmith. All of these drugs, can't nobody just drop me. Bro, uncle with stick in the back of the party. All of these niggas play game what they like, but you cannot respond. No, this shit not Atari. Niggas be hating for any little reason, but I'ma keep rapping these features with Barbie. Trim this shit down till I get to the top. Now I'm about to offset like I'm dealing with Cardi. I'm going back to back, feeling like Pat. They was sleeping on Zello. Wake up from the nap. They put bread on his top since that boy want a cap. I get money, you don't. Let's just keep it a stack. If I sign a contract, I bet that bitch a max. I got smoke, so it's lit. I'm on fire like a match. Can't be chasing the bitch, so I'm chasing the sack. If you don't got a problem, we making it that. Plenty of fish, you won't pay for the kitty. I probably hit once, then I ghost. Move like the Kennedy, I'm at your energy. Who is that boy? I don't know. He use a drum, so he up in the scope. Keep your friends safe and your enemies close. Brody a demon, he getting his mode. Empty the clip, so he gotta reload. Take what he on, I won't go in his pockets. I see through the cap, so that boy better stop it. I'm trying to see cash that don't fit in the wallet. SMG coming, we trying to make profit. Good talk with sinister, say it's no option. I use my technique, stick and move like I'm boxing. I been gave the word, so they ready to box him. I open up doors, thought you needed a locksmith.
Sinister gang, we doing that damn thing, ain't doing the damn thing. It's too many haters and so many fakers. They love the haters, we soul players. Don't care what they talking, the money is popping. Got it in motion, ain't no boasting. Me and the team, taking the world. That's urban grind, that's SCM, that's SMG. Whoever else under the umbrella coming across like the good fellas. Spencer Cologne, they love the smell of us. Only a few, like where's the rest of us? Counting this money, I'm keeping it on me. Drinking this liquor like what is wrong with me? I'm rolling these raws, don't mess with woods. Niggas run up, I wish they would. Getting this money, they wish they could. I won't explain, should be understood. The way that I'm walking, the way that I'm talking, there's something about me. They love, they hate me. These niggas is talking, these bitches is stalking. This shit is appalling. I wanna keep ballin', so stay out my way. I'm not here for play. We coming through,
I'm on
so
the ground
clear
like
the way.
Plenty of fish, you won't pay for the kitty. I probably hit once, then I ghost. Move like the Kennedy, I'm at your energy. Who is that boy? I don't know. He use a drum, so he up in the scope. Keep your friends safe and your enemies close. Brody a demon, he getting his mode. Empty the clip, so he gotta reload. Take what he on, I won't go in his pockets. I see through the cap, so that boy better stop it. I'm trying to see cash that don't fit in the wallet. SMG coming, we trying to make profit. Good talk with sinister, say it's no option. I use my technique, stick and move like I'm boxing. I been gave the word, so they ready to box him. I open up doors, thought you needed a locksmith.
Are you an artist, model, or entertainer? Do you need help with bookings, castings, or even engagement on your platforms? Hit up Urban Grind TV today and let them get you right.
What's going on? It's your boy Wally, aka Mr. Music is My Business from Urban Grind TV. I'm here to announce my brand new book is out. It's available everywhere books are sold. It's titled Music is My Business, the ultimate startup guide to the music business. You can check it out at musicbusinessebook.com, Amazon Books, Barnes & Nobles, and everywhere that books are sold. And it will help you turn your love for music into a sustainable career. Check us out, musicbusinessebook.com. What's going on? It's your boy Wally, aka Mr. Music is My Business. We're back on Urban Grind Radio.
Y'all already know what it is. Thot Boy Zello, aka S29 Zello.
Jump right in. It's Behind the Grind, right? We're doing Behind the Grind. Today we're talking about making money off music.
Yeah, definitely. It's been a wild one. It's definitely been a wild one.
What about
topic is a big one.
Our special guest host, man? Tell them who you are.
Hey, Randy Chertkow, and glad to be here again. I'm always happy to actually help musicians and artists understand the money side of the business and actually participate and make more from it. Because really, a lot of artists just don't survive in this business. It's really sad. It's really hard to do, and that's part of why I have a non-for-profit now to help people get that knowledge and to actually sort of cultivate more creativity across the country. It's something that I've seen all over the place where they actually will survey to see how musicians are doing. And a lot of them have struggled after the pandemic, especially because live music was such a big part of it that hasn't fully recovered yet. I don't know if it ever will be the same. So really, we're in a different kind of world. And it's the topic that we're going to cover now is actually something that still has stayed strong, which is about licensing your music.
So we're talking about revenue streams from music.
Correct.
Making money from music. So this is a whole nother, part 2 is going to give them the licensing part.
Right. And just in case you didn't see part 1, just to be really clear, when you make a new original piece of music, you get 2 copyrights from it. One of it is the composition, and the other is the sound recording. Both of those are things that you own, and people can't use that when they want to synchronize it with video, which basically just means that they're using, it's a fancy way of just saying, hey, we're just going to use your music in a TV ad or a TV commercial or a TV show or some kind of
a movie,
any kind of audio visual, even video game. All of that's the same. Now, different from royalties, these are the types of royalties are something that you make when it's performed somewhere that actually generates a royalty. Let's say it's on the radio or it's on YouTube, which is an example that you had before that you gave in the last segment. It generates a royalty. But when somebody wants to use your work in their work, they have to license it. And they have to do that because you own it.
You got to get permission. But with a bag, you got to pay some money.
That's right. And I mean, it's up to you. You can give it away for free, and a lot of people do. You shouldn't, though. This is actually a good way to make money from it. What's really a lot of misconceptions about it is what you need to do in order to successfully license your music, and that's to understand the business. Now,
where do you start with that?
Where do you start is such a good question. It's in the studio. It actually starts with making sure that your music can be licensed. So what do I mean by that? If you are making a TV show, let's say that was your job, when you use somebody else's work without permission, you've actually infringed them and they can sue you. And so one of the things that you want to make sure that you do when you use somebody else's work in a TV show or in any kind of audiovisual work is to make sure that they've licensed it to you. So what does that mean? It means that when you go to make your own music, you need to own all of the sounds and everything that's used in your music so that you can license it. So this is where the hip-hop industry runs into a lot more problems than others in that there's a lot of loops and samples that are used that you don't own. And in that case, you can't license their use because you don't own it. And that's just part of your song, but it means your whole song can't really easily
No
be
James
licensed.
Brown sample, no Jay-Z sample. You can't take Tupac's chorus and put it in the beat.
My suggestion is make your own. Like, put it in there to make the music. That's what the Beastie Boys used to do. They used to use James Brown. They'd do things on top of it, but then they'd actually make their own music and then they'd drop it out for the final mix.
So it'd be the inspiration. It's more inspired by it, but it's
right.
original.
That's right.
Somebody played it as opposed to just copying it.
That's right. And so why is this so important? It's like they literally have a whole industry around not getting sued. So there's people associated with it. If you were a TV director, you'd actually have somebody on your staff called a music supervisor. The music supervisor's job is to take your direction. If you say, hey, this scene's really heavy, it's a love scene, but it's like, one where they're arguing and it's like really heavy. I want to find just the perfect music to sit underneath that kind of thing. Your job actually would be to use all your creativity to find the right song to go in that part. And then once you do, your job is to license it and actually work with the artist in order to make sure that the license is cleared out. And remember, since there's two parts, there's the composition and the sound recording, you need to get licenses for both. Now, why do I keep emphasizing that? Because if you're working with a major label, very often the label owns the sound recording, and the composition would be owned by the songwriter. It might not be the artist who performs it. Even some of your most famous songs out there where it's associated with one person, someone else wrote the music. So that, whoever the songwriters are the ones who actually license the composition, and whoever the owner of the sound recording is who licenses that. If you are an independent artist, you got both. And guess what? You get two payments again. Remember we talked about this before? If you're the songwriter and the publisher, you get 100%. The same thing is true of this. 50% can go to the, and actually it doesn't have to go to 50-50. And very often labels are assholes. So they'll do this thing where it's like, oh, you want to use the sound recording for the movie? You can't use this. It's $1 billion, but the sound, very often the songwriter is like, oh, great, use my stuff, 100,000,
they want to make some money.
They
right.
want to make some money. And that's why if you ever go to a movie and wonder why they use a cover version of a song, it's because they made their own cover. They still have to pay the songwriter, but they own the sound recording, and therefore they can license it to themselves.
They didn't have to pay the bag for the original.
See how that works? I had to give all this background to say, this is what you need to do for licensing, is to actually make sure that in the studio you own, as they say, 200%. That means you own 100% of the composition, 100% of the sound recording, and that all of that doesn't have any kind of samples or any kind of other things in it. They're all you. So you want to really be friendly towards that. You actually should think about it when you're making the music. If not, that's fine. You could use samples from other people. Just don't expect to license it. Make sense?
For sure. Makes a lot of sense. It's crazy because a lot of us don't understand that using those samples really damage the song. That's crazy.
Damage is one way to put it. I mean, it's not like it's a bad thing, but it makes it. It doesn't.
It's hurting my pockets.
Off the mic.
It's hurting my pockets. It just hits your pocket.
It hits your pocket. It does damage. Restricts probably is a better word. Your ability to make all the money you could off of it if you owned it completely. There's actually other uses that you can put to your music and other reasons why those samples work against you. And so like for the, there's no reason why to do that too. It's almost like you've gone as far as creating your own work and you've used these others as inspiration. Why not take it the rest of the way home and own the whole thing? I mean, it's almost like stopping 3/4 of the way through making the music. If you stop there, just take it the rest of the way, that last mile in the marathon. That's the hard part. But if you do that, you actually have opened up a whole world of income for yourself.
We've had to do that where we've started a record and the record got lost and the producer's AWOL and like, well, I have a version of it. Like, let's just remake it. And then, because we ain't going to get that back, what we had. Oh, yeah. And then when you remake it, it's not only the original, it's like you can't remake it the way they made it anyways. So it ends up being original. It's just got your flavor to it. Right? We've had to do it, and you run into it for all kind of reasons.
Oh, and by the way, it's worse than that because when you use the sample, both the composition from somebody else and the sound recording from somebody else is mixed in. And they're, like I said, there's usually different people that own it on the major labels. So now you got even 2 more parties to deal with.
You got to clear it.
You have to clear it.
And that's what happens a lot of times that doesn't get cleared.
So it's like, I know, if you make a lot of samples.
That's another thing. How do you get songs to get cleared?
Oh, holy crap. That's a whole nother topic. We can talk about some other. It's funny, but you're talking about the other side of it. So like, let's talk about it from your point of view. You got your own music. You own it. You got the composition. You got the sound recording. Someone else uses it. You're like, pay me. So, so if you want to use my music, go ahead. Now, there's lots of ways to clear it. I'm not going to go into this because today's about monetization. That's the flip side. But all I'm saying is you see why that you need to clear it. It's like someone else is like, I own this. I made it. And I should get paid for it, And that makes sense. So we're talking about the flip side to make sure that you can get paid and that people can clear it. Now, let me just take it from that way on. I'm happy to cover that on another. You want to have another?
That's why I get registered.
Yes. Well, you know what? Being registered does help you get found, because the number one thing with licensing, like when they licensed my music from ABC Family, they found us through our website. They found us through some other methods that places where our name was, and they reached out to us. So literally, it's early in this book. And it's almost ridiculous. And people are like, why do you talk about this? I'm like, well, first you have to get paid. You have to have a legal entity to get paid. And number two, you have to be easy to reach. Like, where are they going to find you?
How are they going to find you?
Contact Us is the most important page on your website. It's where all the business comes in. Like,
so it's not Instagram?
It's
You're not going to find my Snapchat?
Insta and Snapchat and some of these others, you can use to do a direct message. But then you better be monitoring that, because if that's where you're going to get your business coming in.
So if you get my spam on TikTok, it's a wrap.
That's the thing. It's like, if they're going to pay you, you got to be responsive to them. And I'm telling you about music licensing. Not to make this the longest segment in the world, but I can tell you that the music supervisors that get tasked, they like find your song, you're perfect for that love scene we're talking about. They don't have much time to turn this around.
They're not waiting.
And so they're not waiting. They're going to try and reach out to you, but if you don't get back to them, they're going to go on to something else. You're going to lose it.
And you will.
Yeah. So it's like if you're serious about music licensing, I'm about to do a talk on music licensing this Saturday. It's funny, the timing. And I was talking to somebody who runs one of the music offices out in Tennessee, Nashville. Nashville.
Huge music market.
Huge music market there. And he's like, hey, would you mind, it was just the other day, he's like, would you mind doing a segment on music licensing? I think that would be good. I'm like, yeah, that would be really good topic. And I told him, I started to give him an outline of the kind of stuff that I'm just starting to talk about here. And I was talking about that, the fact that you need to, and this is the other part you have to do in the studio, by the way, is that if they're going to use your song, they often want, number one, the stems and the source tracks, because they want to sometimes remix it for their own commercial. If it's according to music supervisors that I interviewed that do movie trailers, it's a 5-part thing that they always do. They want just the right emotion at just the right moment. They're going to chop up your music to pieces. You shouldn't have any precious feelings about your own music. Just say, hey, it's good that they're using it. And they're going to take just that one little part. They'll also probably want a mix of your music if it's like for an advertising spot, which has got the instrumental part and the audio for the vocals. Mm. And why is that the case? Well, if they're going to do a voiceover during a part and they're going to say, hey, come in this weekend because we got a sale, and then they're going to bring it up at the other end of it, they're going to want to bring just the vocals down, but not the music down. They're going to want to bring the music in the right place.
So you're talking like a DJ pack or full pack you should have ready. So if you got a 2-track, they're not going to do anything with it, basically, right?
They can, and it depends on the advertising. So that's what I'm trying to say. You can break it up into, at minimum, 5 different ones at least. Ads, like just ads of different sort, whether it's radio ads or TV ads. It's pretty similar. That's where they're probably going to want a separate vocal mix. You have TV shows that they're less likely to try and do something with the vocals. They just want a good solid mix for that. Movie trailers, which I just talked about, entirely separate music supervisors do that kind of work, and directors, completely different. Still a very big market, and especially with the way distribution changed, like from when I was young, you could only watch movie trailers in movie theaters, and sometimes they'd have commercials on TV. Now they have literally hundreds of millions of views on YouTube, so it's actually big business, and they want to make movie trailers, and usually movie trailers don't use the music from the movie itself. That's usually not the case. They use other music for it.
To get you pumped, right?
To get you
inspired.
Well, like they were trying to hit just the right emotion at the right second of this commercial. Seriously, like I was talking about. This is straight from an interview that I did with one of those guys, and that's the case. And there's a 4th one, which is movies themselves. So I did TV shows, movies, movie trailers, and advertising. The 5th one is video games. Entirely different for that, and usually they just want a solid mix unless they're doing something super fancy. But each of them, like the movie trailer one, wants like every stem, every part of your song generally, And so why I'm saying, your question that kicked off this whole long diatribe was, well, what do I have to do to get started? I'm like, start in your studio and make sure that the output from your studio, you've got 200%, you own all of it. And the second is that you have all the pieces of it, and you have different mixes that are good for the types of people that would want to use it.
The sessions.
You make it super easy for them to use it, and man, have you finally made it much more likely that you can actually get money for licensing your music.
Gang. I'm on the ground like, whoa. Plenty of fish, you won't pay for the kitty. I probably hit once, then I ghost. Move like the Kennedy, I'm at your energy. Who is that boy? I don't know. He use a drum, so he up in the scope. Keep your friends safe and your enemies close. Brody a demon, he getting his mode. Empty the clip, so he gotta reload. Take what he on, I won't go in his pockets. I see through the cap, so that boy better stop it. I'm trying to see cash that don't fit in the wallet. SMG coming, we trying to make profit. Good talk with sinister, say it's no option. I use my technique, stick and move like I'm boxing. I been gave the word, so they ready to box him. I open up doors, thought you needed a locksmith. All of these drugs, can't nobody just drop me. Bro, buckle with stick in the back of the part. All of these niggas play game what they like, but you cannot respond. No, this shit not a tar. Niggas be hating for any little reason, but I'ma keep rapping these features with Barbie. Trim this shit down till I get to the top. Now I'm about to offset like I'm dealing with Cardi. I'm going back to back, feeling like Pat. They was sleeping on Zello. Wake up from the nap. They put bread on his top since that boy wanna cap.
Yo, what's the word? It's SMG Zello, aka Thot Boy Zello, the Talk a Lot artist, man. In the beginning, it was hard for me to get exclusives and to get promo for my music. But guess what? UGTV has that, man. Call the number below, and they will help you out, man. It was the best thing I did for myself.
Mujeriego y mentiroso, mira lo que he llegado yo. Ah, mira. Y ahora estoy buscando y rogando por perdón. ¡Ay, Dios mío! ¿Qué?
This week in Hip Hop History on Urban Grind TV, we're revisiting Kanye's West masterpiece, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, released on November 22nd, 2010. This album marked Kanye's return to the spotlight after a period of controversy. Blending elements of rock, R&B, and even classical music, Kanye brought together an all-star cast to create something truly unforgettable. Let's dive into the track that defined this album's legacy. Power opens up with a thematic energy, capturing Kanye's complex mix of grandeur and self-reflection. All of the Lights is a grand spectacle featuring a lineup of guest vocalists and musicians. The Devil in the New Dress offers a soulful touch with Rick Ross delivering one of the most memorable verses. My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy wasn't just an album, it was Kanye's magnum opus. For more on the music that defines culture, keep in tune to Urban Grind TV and join the next time this week in hip hop.
Model, or entertainer, do you need help with bookings, castings, or even engagement on your platforms? Hit up Urban Grind TV today and let them get you right.
What's going on? It's your boy Wally, aka Mr. Music is My Business from Urban Grind TV. I'm here to announce my brand new book is out. It's available everywhere books are sold. It's titled Music is My Business, the ultimate startup guide to the music business. You can check it out at musicbusinessebook.com, Amazon Books, Barnes & Nobles, and everywhere that books are sold. And it will help you turn your love for music into a sustainable career. Check us out, musicbusinessebook.com.
It's a Pro Tools session, right? Or Logic or whatever they're recording
Correct.
on. That's going to be your ultimate control of what you have. So it's going there, recording maybe somewhere,
Right.
bringing a hard drive with you, right? And saying, hey, can I get a copy of the session
You want
when you're done?
you want the session, but you also need mixes. So this is the other part of it, not just the session. The session files you can sell in other ways. That's our next segment. We're going to talk about monetizing production. So let's hold off on that.
Yeah.
We'll leave something to talk about for next time. Besides, we have to get through this part of it. Now, that only says how you get started, but your probably next thought is, well, okay, let's say I do all that stuff. I own 200%. I've got that. How do I even get anybody to license my music? Why should anyone care? And that gets into the next part. I've got a whole chapter in the book about this where I talk about it, and I can summarize it to say, first of all, there's music supervisors. Remember, these are the people that choose the music and clear the music for each one of the areas that I talked about separately. They specialize, and they usually tie themselves closely to certain directors and certain production houses. So how do you get to know those people? Now we're into what, I'm sorry, but this is where generationally, younger generations are used to doing things on computers a lot, and this is a very people-oriented business. You actually need to get to know some of these people if you want to have the most success doing music licensing.
Talk to them. Tell them what you mean by that.
Well, you have to meet with them, first of all.
In
What does
person.
that mean? In person. You go places like there's conventions and other times where you can actually get to be music supervisors. In fact, that's how I interviewed him for the book. It was actually really something where I was standing in line at a music convention, and a music supervisor gave a talk. I took a lot of great notes. Some of that became the basis for both articles for Electronic Musician as well as this chapter. But then the other thing is everyone was walking up and handing him CDs, and this was in the CD era. It was a number of years ago, but they were handing him CDs of their music, hoping that this music supervisor would like it. And we walked up to him, and he held out his hand. I'm like, actually, I'd like to interview you for an article. He's like, oh, really? Yeah, we're with Electronic Musician. He got so excited. He was so happy. So we met with him the next day. He was a little bit hungover, but we were at a coffee shop, and he gave us the inside scoop and how all this stuff works. So you just get to meet them is part of it. The way to do it that's the least effort is you go to places that are music libraries. Now, this is a whole nother world of this whole music licensing thing. Music libraries are where music supervisors go to find music that would fit their mood. And usually you have music that's up there that's tagged in every way you can imagine. What style and genre is it? What tempo is it? What key is it in sometimes? What kind of mood does it have?
So they could say, like, I want a scary track. I want something real funny. And then everything with them tags or categories, they pop up, right?
Exactly right.
So they're not going to my Instagram, going to read all my music. And
That's right.
They just want somewhere that's cleared already,
Right.
that they can go to a library, click the song. They're already cleared probably with that agency.
Yep.
And it's easy to use.
Yep. Now, there's tons of libraries out there. There's a distinction on those. There's ones that are what they call curated and uncurated. Your uncurated ones are ones that just let anybody upload their music to be found. And there's a bunch out there that do this. There's some that are curated, which means that they're not just going to let anybody put their music up there. They're actually going to vet you. Those actually have a higher chance of success. They will tend to take a higher cut as well of what they do from the platform.
So that's the trade-off, because they feel like we take a bigger piece, but you're going to be
and they may not accept it too. They may
more
not,
successful.
They may not like your music.
Okay.
So, like curated ones, they're under no obligation.
But they could be more picky because they got more action.
That's right. That's right. That's exactly right. There's another type that's called, I guess I could call it submission-based. Can't remember what category I called it in the book, but things like taxi.com. And what
Taxis,
they do,
I remember them for they've been around a long time.
They've been around forever, and they've stayed around. And I think part of the reason they've stayed around is that they get some of their money from the people submitting it. Because what will happen is a TV show will say, we want a love scene that's like this with an angry couple that's going to be arguing. And it's like, can you match both of these moods? It's a crazy kind of scene. And people will submit, and you have to pay money to do submissions on that. And so they kind of collect money on the front end of something like that. They will tend to give you a feedback on your song to say you're getting something for your money, even if it doesn't get accepted. But then once it gets accepted, they'll choose one of the submissions, or well, they're under no obligation to accept it if they have to, but they'll try and take it from that. So like that's another way you can play this game. There's yet another 2 ways that I can mention just at a high level, just so you know the full flyover, which is there's boutique houses that just make music for licensing, and they love to have artists work for them, and they'll tend to take all the rights for the songs. They'll own the songs.
They take the rights.
Which one do you prefer to aim at, uncurated or curated?
Well, you know, it depends on how you want to play this game. My favorite way to do it, if you were going to be really serious about doing music licensing, what I highly recommend is that you do everything I talked about, own 200% everything, and then make some personal relationships with some of these music supervisors that really fit well with your music and how you make your music. And interestingly, one of the things that the music supervisor said to me is that you don't want to say, well, I make all kinds of music. Even if you're a multi-talented musician, you can make country music and you can make jazz. They're just going to choose a jazz musician to make jazz, and they're going to choose a country artist to do country. What they actually want is something that's more different and more unique, because they need that for their music. They want, especially advertising, they don't want to have anything associated with it that's been heard before. They want to be unique and have a sonic thing that vibes with whatever they're selling and their demographic that they're selling to. So like part of
they want first dibs, you're saying, right?
They do want first dibs, and they sometimes want exclusive rights. I've heard of this. This was another thing that the Music Soup said to me, was that it's like, if Pepsi uses your song, Coke isn't going to use your song. You could probably license it again for some other kind of product, but generally they want your song to associate with their brand.
That makes total sense.
Yeah, it's going. Yeah, that's like because I used to work at a certain company and we couldn't eat other companies' certain food in the company. So,
Same kind of thing. And so when it comes to licensing, there's a bunch of other things with licensing that's in the book on license terms that you need to know, exclusive versus non-exclusive. You can choose the territory, which I did for my book. We talked about it during the intro, where I said, you can only do this in the US, and then I relicensed it in Europe and was able to rewrite it for that, but it was the same core intellectual property that I based it on. And so like you can do really clever things like that, and if you're going to play this game, play it right, learn these terms, make sure you charge extra for exclusivity, which means that they're the only ones that are licensing it. Well, you can't license that song anymore. You licensed it exclusively.
Speaking of charging, how would you know? How do you know what you should charge coming in?
That is not.
That's got to be a good question,
that is
right?
The hardest thing to know, and part of this is why you want to get it to know other people.
It's a gamble.
It is a gamble. Well, it's a negotiation, is what it really is. You know what I mean? I guess the gamble is that it's like $100, and you should have charged $100,000.
Right.
Right. So, like, you want to hit the right price, and you want to do this properly. We let them talk first when we did ABC Family Disney, and it worked out really well for us because we were thinking something lower than they first said. So it worked really well.
So you didn't even counter, you just ran with it?
We did run with it because we realized we were getting X and then X again because we own both the copyright for the composition and the sound recording.
So you ran.
That's the first time we ran into, and you have to do it twice. So we're like, this is pretty cool. And then I'm like, why did no one write this in a book? And that's why we wrote it in a book. It's like everything that I've been saying to you is stuff that we didn't know what the F we were doing at the time, and we had to figure out. I'm like, I don't want any other musicians to struggle. Let's just figure it out. So the answer is, you don't know. And the more famous and popular a song is, the more you can charge for it, obviously. So there's no set rate. You've probably heard that you can do cover songs and that it's required. Like, you can't stop somebody from making a cover. But that is not true with sync. You can actually say, I don't want you to use it for any price. And you can set any price you want. You do the Dr. Evil thing and say $1 million. And they don't have, it's like, or else don't use it. They can't force it.
That's crazy.
Yeah. See why this is a good part of the game. If you're serious about the business of your music, at that point, it's better to have somebody negotiate on your behalf. And that's part of what a music publisher will do for you, is not only register royalties, but they will try and get it licensed. Because guess what? When the music is licensed, it also generates royalties. Like if you get it in a film, then the film generates the royalties as well.
That's making money from music.
That's right.
That's just like the book. as running the bag. See that? There's more money. I just thought it was important that people understood it was more than the live performances, because he talked about how live performance took a hit. And a lot of these people were probably used to the show money, and they really didn't worry about the other revenues or streams of income, the passive income.
On the nose.
They didn't even, it wasn't a thought, because it's like, well, this is money right now.
That's right.
It may be more lump sum money, but the good money is the passive income. And literally that's all we create. I used to tell people, like, it's a title to like a car or a house. It's like a deed. That everything we make is a deed, and that has value. What it's worth is whatever people are willing to pay for it.
That's right.
But it's a deed. So like every time you make something, if you really thought about it as a deed and thought about it as the value, you would take it more serious. And then the next thing is how, and that's what we're talking about today. You know, from the royalties, now we're into the music licensing. Before we wrap this segment up, what's some advice they would give people if they own 200%? Because there's a lot of people that I know, they produce, they songwrite, they do a lot of stuff.
Y'all go do that too, man.
In-house.
Make sure y'all tap in. Best behind the ground out here.
Right.
Like, yeah,
see?
It's crazy.
What would you tell them that they should know about licensing? What's the thing they should walk away from with?
Well, look, first of all, on licensing, and I actually talked about this earlier in the week with the guy from Nashville, is that when it comes to your music business, generally you've got to keep in mind it's like a record. You can only play one song at once. You're like a needle. You're the needle. You can only play one song at once. You can actually do a quick and dirty version of music licensing by going to like Magnatune or Songtrader, which are the uncurated ones or semi-curated ones, depending on how they do it nowadays, and just upload your music and let that go. And it's up there, and then if people buy it, you know, you're not going to make as much as if you're pushing it, but then if somebody does it, it becomes sort of like passive income. Mostly passive, with one little active step that you have to sign the license, but it's very straightforward. So that's what I'd recommend for most musicians. For others that want to be serious about music licensing, you actually want to get to know some of these people and understand the biz, understand how much you should charge for the kind of music that you do and the kind of licensing that you're going to do. And then if you can actually make your entire living off of. I told you I've cataloged over 300 sources of income. Some people make their money off of one of them. It's not like any one of them can't be huge, and it can be really big. I would say music licensing, don't do that first. You do your royalties because you're putting your music out there. If you've got recorded music, you may as well do that. And then if you're going to do licensing, go big into it, or just go to your uncurated libraries like Songtrader and the others. Put it out there and let them roll with it, and just let the money come in from that and work on other parts of your music business. And there are things like building your fan base and doing things like generating show revenue. Merchandise is a huge one where I have dozens and dozens of things, and I've shown you my lists of stuff, and I know I thought you haven't seen some of these things, but you wouldn't, like, I haven't failed to show people the list of different ways to make money with merch, you know, and you're like, oh yeah, I got to do that one, you know. It gets,
the merch list was crazy. We went through it when we did Ismael Rosa's party for Velvet Ami, and that's what we did. We got to go. He literally had the list, and when you got a big list like that, it does. You're able to look at it and say, oh, this pops out to me. This fits with me. I wouldn't do that, but that's cool. You know what I mean? And so you're able to look at it, and I think that's why I love working with Randy, and, you know, his book, Making Money with Music. Make sure you guys go get that. Is he provides the data and the information, and it's like anything. It's like school. Like, you can learn, but what you do with it is on you. So that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to give people the information and just break down the topic, because I understand, speaking to a lot of artists, it's the words and the lingo and stuff is kind of overwhelming for them.
Right.
So I wanted to, you know, behind the ground, we wanted to do something that we can break down just a few of those things. We've already exceeded far beyond what I was going to give him. So I think it's good, because there's levels to it, and as long as you get familiar with it, you pick up a book, do the research, and more importantly, you got to do the work. You can know all this stuff and have it, but if you don't do the work, you're not going to get paid. This is your boy Wally, aka Mr. Music Is My Business. We're gonna take a quick break. We got Thot Boy Zello and Randy in the building. It's Behind the Grind. We'll be right back.
Gang. I'm on the ground like, whoa. Plenty of fish, you won't pay for the kitty. I probably hit once, then I ghost. Move like the Kennedy, I'm at your energy. Who is that boy? I don't know. He use a drum, so he up in the scope. Keep your friends safe and your enemies close. Brody a demon, he get in his mode. Empty the clip, so he gotta reload. Take what he own, I won't go in his pockets. I see through the cap, so that boy better stop it. I'm trying to see cash that don't fit in the wallet. SMG coming, we tryna make profit. Good talk with sinister, say it's no option. I use my technique, stick and move like I'm boxing. I been gave the word, so they ready to box him. I open up doors, thought you needed a locksmith. All of these drugs, can't nobody just drop me. Bro, Uncle with stick in the back of the part. All of these niggas play game what they like, but you cannot respond. No, this shit not Atari. Niggas be hating for any little reason, but I'ma keep rapping these features with Barbie. Trim this shit down till I get to the top. Now I'm about to offset like I'm dealing with Cardi. I'm going back to back, feeling like Pat. They was sleeping on Zello. Wake up from the nap. They put bread on his top since that boy wanna cap.
Yo, what's the word? It's SMG Zello, aka Thot Boy Zello, the Talk a Lot artist, man. In the beginning, it was hard for me to get exclusives and to get promo for my music. But guess what? UGTV has that, man. Call the number below, and they will help you out, man. It was the best thing I did for myself.